just hating your life is no kind of a way to do nothing. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Devin Harrington, the average Gen Xer, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are taking a look at some posts on the Regretful Parents sub, and they are all written by people who had children and found out far too late that that life is not for them. And as always, when I read these posts or pretty much any of my child-free content that I make, I am not trying to shame or mock or make fun of anyone who had kids and wishes they didn't. That's a horrible situation to be in. And the reason I make this content is to do my itty bitty teeny tiny little part to help humanity wake up and realize that not everyone's meant to be a parent. We don't have to just keep breeding indiscriminately to fill up every inch of space on the planet. There are over 8.5 billion of us right now as of 2025. We don't need any more people. The whole we have to produce the next generation thing is fucking old at this point. There's far too many of us, and there's plenty of people raising the next generation. So if having kids is not for you, it's my hope that people realize that before they have kids, because the kids are the ones that suffer. So let's get to it. But first, as I always do on every video, I would like to take a moment to encourage and to beg and plead that any animal lovers out there, please consider fostering or volunteering on site for your local animal shelter. This is my current foster, Goldie, and she is just the cutest, huh? And she is big, and she's only 4 months old. So she was brought into the shelter as a stray with a fractured pelvis, and she spent much of her puppyhood sitting in a crate recovering. And now she's at my house for a couple of weeks, and my dogs are teaching her how to be a dog, and she's learning to not go in the house and do all of the things that doggies need to know. So if you love animals, please do your little bitty part to help save the world. It's totally worth it. Do it for these guys, and I thank you so much. Okay, so first post is by user Rare Indication, and it's simply titled, "This is Awful." And they say, "I feel like the only reason I do anything is fear of guilt. I love my wife, but I cannot stand being a parent. The only reason I don't just disappear or end myself is because of the guilt. The only reason I try to be a good parent is because of guilt. The only reason I don't just run away and pretend like they never existed is because of guilt. I feel like I'm in a prison of my own making. Sir, you are. My wife loves being a parent, and I just can't get my head around it. How can you love this prison? It's absolutely insufferable." This guy feels exactly like I would if I had been somehow convinced to get married and have kids. I always say marriage to me seems like prison with better furniture. And that's just what I observed my mother and stepfather's marriage growing up. I mean, that's where we get our ideas about relationships, right? Is watching the adults around us as we grow up. And can you imagine this guy's kids? Because kids are not stupid. They're not clueless. They can feel when a parent has this type of vibe going on. This is really, really terrible. I mean, can you imagine that the only reason you don't run away or unalive yourself is because you feel guilty? So does he feel guilty because he's afraid people will think he's a terrible person for leaving his family if he were to do that? Or does he feel guilty because he wishes he could be the father that his kids deserve? Who knows? I mean, it comes across as pretty self-serving, but some of the comments on this, Illustrious Noise 96 said, "Yep, you described me almost perfectly." Express Help said, "Horrendous living hell." realize, I mean, I say this every time I read these kind of posts, these people are describing the thing that I realize broad generalization, but we are raised to feel like this is what you are moving toward. This is your goal in life, is to find your person and to make little people who look like the two of you, and then you show off this perfect little unit to the world to show that you have fulfilled your purpose for existence. And it's such bullshit. It is such bullshit that now that we have things like Reddit and other forums, people are coming out of the woodwork to tell you what bullshit it is and how they were tricked or convinced or didn't pay attention or whatever. They loved their partner so much they figured, oh, it'll be okay. Why we don't have a standard, some kind of place where you can go to take care of small children and babies. I realize this is like, there are so many liabilities with this, but it should be standard. If you are pregnant, if you just found out you're pregnant, if you are planning to get pregnant, you and your partner must go to such and such place where you learn how to take care of babies. I mean, I realize there are parenting classes and all of that for couples who are expecting, but I'm talking more like about a cultural thing. Like, why is it not standard that young kids are told what it's like to have kids? I mean, I'm the oldest of four, and I was greatly parentified as a kid, and I feel like it's us oldest kids or older siblings who had to really be hands-on caring for our younger siblings. We're the ones that really got a taste of what it's like to deal with little kids. And everybody should be able to be exposed to what it's like to be around a baby, at least. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I'm just saying there's so many people on this sub that are like, nobody told me. Why didn't somebody tell me? It was so hard. I can't believe it. Blah, blah, blah. This is not what I learned from Disney growing up. And there's just no excuse for that in this day and age. So I don't know. I mean, I know there are lifelike dolls and all of that bullshit, but I'm really saying, like, why is this not like a worldwide standard? Somehow we talked everyone in the human race into just accepting the fact that two people meet and they should legally bind themselves together for the rest of their lives. And it is absolute shame and sin. And you are a bad person if you end up getting divorced. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm fucking babbling right now, basically. Jibudeen said, guilt, and where would you go? Since your friends and family would not necessarily be the same if you were to leave, am I right? And the OP said, exactly. Everyone would think I was some sort of evil monster. There we are. Long Jumping Bag said, get a vasectomy to not have more. And the OP said, I already have. But unfortunately, it doesn't delete the two I've already got. Ugh, that's hard. You know, that's just fucking hard to feel that way about your children. I just cannot. The cognitive dissonance between what these folks on this sub describe and what we are collectively taught to think of marriage and kids, or at least having kids with a partner, the math isn't mathing. Okay, moving on to the next post. This is also written by a dad and user Emotional Escape 7800. And it's titled, Absent Parents, I Envy You. I wish I had the balls to leave and end my suffering. Absent moms and dads. Wow, clap for yourself. I wish I had the balls. I wish I had the cojones to leave my situation. I wake up every day hating my life, wishing I wasn't a parent. I would be curious to know what percentage of people throughout the past century, let's say, have had this thought, I wish I never had kids, because people would never say it out loud. I mean, people are afraid to say it out loud today in front of other parents or whatnot. But at least they have this and other anonymous forums to speak their mind in. But I wonder, how many parents, moms and dads, have lain awake at night staring at the ceiling thinking, I wish I had the strength to leave. I mean, that is tragic. Just, that's so horrible. Okay, shut up, Dev. Moving on. He says, every day I hate my life and I hate my decision to have children. So this guy decided. He went into it with his eyes wide open. He made the choice and he fucking hates his life. And that, regardless of whether you hate your life because you have kids or you hate your life for some other reason, just hating your life is no kind of a way to do nothing. I mean, I know I say it all the time, but it is a tragedy that people find themselves in this situation because there is no escape. A lot of people on this sub will say, oh, I just have X number of years left until the kid gets to 18. Like you're going to have your life back instantly. You're going to be the person you were before you had kids. No, it never ends. It doesn't end until you die. Because even if your child dies before you, you are still their parent for the rest of your life. Okay, he goes on. So I should be just an absent parent. I should just run away, live my life on my terms, and be an absent parent. But I don't have the balls to do that. I can't face the family clapback. I can't face the shame from friends. So instead, I live a lie and suffer daily. If only I had the balls and the cojones, you can tell it's a guy that wrote this, huh? Of an absent parent to just pack up and leave. And this is a father. I mean, a lot of women on here voice the same thoughts. They would love to just run away. And a lot of women do. But they also say in a lot of these posts that, men have it so easy. They can just walk away, pay child support, whatever. But I think once you have a kid, unless you are really just an unconscious moron, you have a tie to that other person that you made, that you helped make for the rest of your life. There is no end to it. And that's why I think people should fucking stop and think before they decide to have unprotected sex even. Never mind thinking about having kids. Oh my God. Okay. He goes on. I'm looking at my life thinking, oh, in 18 years, maybe I'll get my life back. But then I remember, if my dad said, hey, son, I'm moving to Japan, I'd probably be like, what do you mean you're moving to Japan? You can't move to Japan. You can't abandon your kids. And I'm 30 years old. So really and truly, I'm stuck. I'm on the hook forever. Yes, sir, you are. Honestly, there's got to be something better than this. Well, sir, it's funny you should ask, because there is something better, and that is to remain child-free, to go from doctor to doctor to doctor until you find the enlightened doctor who will sterilize you if you want that. Everybody's body belongs to them. Don't even get me started. Okay, he goes on. I'm on the hook forever. Honestly, there's got to be something better than this. Being on the hook forever. Honestly, I wake up with regret every day. It's inescapable. How do you all cope? Yeah. I mean, what can you say to someone like this? And again, I'm so glad that there is a place where folks like this can express all their emotions without fear of judgment, and people validate what they have to say. Because look at these comments. IC47 said, actual prison, regular yellow, 3 hots and a cot. Prison. Having kids, married or not, you've got kids with someone, you've got a tie to them, energetically at least, forever, but you've also got a tie to them for your child's life. And these people are saying it's prison. Prison with better furniture. Even Enthusiasm said, by staying with them, you are actually showing you do have the cojones. Leaving is really easy for many. I don't know. Leaving is really easy for many parents because you would feel guilt. It shows what kind of person you are. Someone who does an action that they later regret but still own up to it. Yeah, but nobody forced this guy into settling down and having children. No one. Even if it was an accident, even if you're on using 14 kinds of birth control and she still gets pregnant, that's not an accident. You had sex. You know there are consequences. There can be consequences to having sex. There is no reason to say that this guy is a stand-up guy because he'd feel bad about leaving. He desperately wants to leave. He's just afraid of his own ego, his guilt, and what will my family think and what will other people think. And so that is why it's so important to think about this. For the love of God, don't just bring another person into the world unless you are absolutely certain 1,000% that you want that baby and that you want to raise that baby to be a upstanding member of society. Okay, getting back up to it, even enthusiasm goes on and says, I do hope you get into some kind of better situation where you're not hating your life. It's a sucky feeling. Have you talked to a therapist or a counselor? Everybody's got to come with have you talked to a therapist? My copay is $75 for 50 minutes for therapy. Yeah, like therapy is so cheap, like it's free. Oh, yes, we have therapists standing by, ready to help you out. Regretful parents. Osa Bear 92 said, I love this comment, and not only do I agree, but I'd like to add to it in case OP reads it. The guilt and shame and ridicule that would be a problem at first, but the power of our human minds, anyone could probably get over it if they really wanted to, the guilt of leaving. With that said, my kid had just leveled up from daycare to school when I came to the realization that not only was being a parent one of the dumbest things I could have done for myself, but that many other facets in my life were also spiraling downward. Countless sleepless nights sitting there staring at the door ready to grab a backpack. It'd be fine. Heck, I've been homeless before. I can make this work. Drop the phone. New number. Disappear for a bit. The spouse can take care of the kid. Kiddo's got grandparents. He'd be fine. After much contemplation, I'd eventually get up and continue doing the thing, the daily life thing. This is the part that I know is going to be annoying, so bear with me. I don't know what really changed, but eventually he grew and I grew and things just got a little less poopy. Nothing's perfect. Mental health, I will be on that journey for the rest of my life. But I will say, however, it happened. I continue to enjoy that kid more and more. His personality is pretty awesome. We are so very different, but he's a cool kiddo. Well, this person got lucky. Literally this morning, I was having a parent-teacher conference, and things are far from perfect. Me and kiddo are definitely going to be having some hard conversations today. But the tediousness of it, the weight of I don't want to, has definitely gotten lighter. I guess technically I have no advice, just a story to share. I hope its time passes each day. The weight the OP is carrying also gets lighter. Same to any other parents in this sub who read these like I do. And the OP responded to that and said, thanks for adding to it. Only in year one. I'm only in year one. I do hope the weight gets lighter. I'm sure it will. I just got to find a way to enjoy it somehow. I'll take inspiration from your story and the post above. I do need to see a therapist. Perhaps that'll help. Thanks, you two. I really appreciate your kind words. And that is another great thing about Reddit, is that people can support each other. Even anonymous internet strangers' support is really, really, really helpful. Okay, last post for today, and it is by OK Information, and it's called I Want Out. And this is, all three of these posts were written by men, so I didn't actually plan it that way, but interesting to get some male perspective on this issue. And he says, I have 4 boys, 3, 6, 11, and 11. Oh my God, sir, you had twin boys and then you went on and had 2 more kids? He says, they're very well behaved, intelligent, thoughtful, and helpful, but I can't stand them. They are always wanting my attention, and I just want to be left alone. You have 4 young children and you want to be left alone? Sir, what planet are you from? He goes on, I resent having them all the time. It was hard for me to admit to myself, especially out loud, until I started to read on this forum. See, it helps. I mean, it's something. It's at least you feel solidarity with people who are in the same boat as you. But let's all go a step further and just not have kids so that no one has to be on the regretful parents sub. That would be swell. He goes on. I get no joy from their happiness. I have tried to force myself to act like I care about them, and it just does not work. The only time I can even spend a little time around them is when I'm high or buzzed. I think I'm finally done trying. Wow, this guy is not playing anymore. I want to get divorced and sign away my parental rights and just move on with my life. But I know that will make them feel bad, never seeing me again, which makes me feel guilty. These guys feel guilty because people will think they're a monster, which I guess you kind of are. If you got 4 sons and you just leave them, walk away. I mean, this guy is a real piece of work. The only time he can be around his kids is when he's high or buzzed. I would certainly be that parent if I was a parent. So no shade there. I mean, cope however you need to, but this is clearly a guy who should have watched my child-free content before he decided to father children. He goes on. I wish they just did not care about me so I could leave guilt-free and get on with my life. Edit. To provide additional information, I should have initially included, I am male. The 11-year-olds are identical twins. My wife is an exceptional person who takes on about 95% of the responsibilities in caring for the 4 boys. That means she takes on 100% because this guy clearly doesn't want anything to do with his own kids. So this woman doesn't need him around anyway. So they should get divorced. Let him walk away. I mean, the guy couldn't care less. He's got 4 children. Couldn't care less about them. So, God, what a mess. See, all of this could have been prevented. All of this suffering could have been prevented if you just didn't have kids. He goes on. I never wanted to have children because I sensed something was not quite right with me, but I didn't know what it was, and I was afraid to express that to anyone. 2 doctors told my wife she couldn't get pregnant. Oh my God. So I thought there was no need to worry. How many times have we seen some version of that? A doctor. What does a fucking doctor know about your fertility? Even fertility specialists can't figure it out. Don't ever, ever, ever take a doctor's word for fucking anything. If you are new here, I was diagnosed with a chronic pain condition when I was in my late teens, early 20s. It's called interstitial cystitis. It's now very well known because doctors use it when they can't figure out what a woman's pelvic pain is coming from, which is 99% of the time. But, I was misdiagnosed. I was told by doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor after specialist, oh yeah, you have IC and there's no cure. You'll have this pain your whole life. No, I didn't have IC. I had tight pelvic muscles. I went to a pelvic floor PT twice a week religiously for 6 or 8 months, and my incurable disease suddenly was gone. So with regard to your fertility, for fuck's sake, never have unprotected sex unless you really want a kid, because clearly 2 doctors didn't know what the hell they were talking about. This woman was told she couldn't get pregnant. Now she's got 4 children. He says, the twins just came naturally. Yes, with the last two, I should have been stronger, but I was doing my best and hoping everything would improve. When all my children were born, I felt nothing. No love, no fear, just emptiness. I have been in therapy for the past 3 years and I am currently on medication. Well, I don't know that there's any medication that can cure your lack of emotion, you fucking psychopath, but have at it, I guess. Let's see what the comments had to say to this guy. Melon Magellan said, when you have 4 kids and the oldest are either twins or Irish twins, I really don't understand this thinking. You think you'd have figured out you can't stand them by kid 2 or 3 and stop having them. Sea Jelly said, yeah, it's wild. The youngest one is 3. Routing God said, no easy way out of this. You'll end up hurting a lot of people on your way out. And the OP said, yeah, this is how I feel. So he's just concerned about his reputation and he's afraid of the guilt he may or may not feel. I mean, he feels nothing for these kids. So who knows? How old is this post? This is only from a month ago. Senior Ganache said, bottom line will be child support and alimony. Do people actually pay alimony anymore? I don't know. So, unless your finances can handle dual households, there is no clean parting of the ways. You have to live somewhere. Abdicate the father role and become housemates. They and you may enjoy that more. I don't know how you would not be their dad if you're still living in the same house, though. Admirable Virus said, if you need someone to talk to, DM me. Stay strong, brother. I mean, it's great to see men on here supporting each other. I'm assuming this is a man responding, but just overall, it warms my cold black heart to see people at least supporting each other and not, tearing him down for being honest. I mean, he does sound like a sociopath of some kind, but at least he's being honest. Overall Cheetah 3000 said, I wonder why you had more since you hate it that much. Why not just stick with the 11-year-old twins? Not to be disrespectful, but I am genuinely curious. Sea Jelly said, that's what I'm saying. The youngest one is 3. It's like you're in too deep. Okay, Snow said, I'm also curious. I love my baby, although I have postpartum depression and find it so difficult. I am second guessing my plan on having another. Don't do it. Do not do it, lady. And the OP responded, this is a great question that has a super long answer, but in short, I was just trying my best and had a lot of mental health issues that I did not know about until recently. Wow. That's some heavy stuff. That is what I have for you today, guys. I would love to know your thoughts on the stories these 3 guys presented. I didn't plan it to be all men, but it just turned out that way. So I think we all know some guy who got somebody knocked up and ended up with a kid that they did or didn't necessarily want, at the time at least. Anybody out there in a similar situation? I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear from other child-free people out there. Do you have friends that have had kids that have been in this situation? I mean, I have a friend I've talked about several times on this channel who was like this, was raised to expect to grow up and get married and have kids. And that was what you did. And very traditional Italian Catholic family. And she, like most people, do what's expected of them. And had a very, very hard time. And I'm not saying she doesn't love her kids, but I think she might have made different choices if she had sat down and thought about it. And she is the youngest of 2 girls and never really did much babysitting. So think about that. It should be required of all teenagers that you have to babysit. Somebody's got a baby that you can babysit. Anyway, that's what I have for you today, guys. I really appreciate everyone that stops by to hear me talk shit on the internet. And we are getting close to 2,500 subs. It's really tickles me to see this little channel grow. And I thank you all so much. And I will see you guys in the next video.